Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then welcome. My name's Kristina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So if you're looking for the best and most honest how-tos and reviews from a consumer's perspective, then make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. I'm very excited for this video because we are going to be testing out the brand new Kiss imPRESS lashes. Now if you guys don't know, I am a big fan of cluster lashes, lash ribbons, all those things, pretty much any lash that you put underneath. I'll be talking you guys through all of the claims of this. I'll be doing a demo applying these lashes, and I'll talk through like my final first impressions, and I'll also leave some information in the description box down below on how these wear throughout the next couple days, or at least the next 24 hours. And the reason why these are interesting is because it says there's no glue needed. So there's pre-bond on these, and it's supposed to actually stay for a full 24 hours. Now, a little bit of background on these types of lashes. If you're not familiar, I do have a full video talking about how I apply my own cluster lashes and lash ribbons and stuff like that. I'll link it in the cards as well as in the description box down below. I go in full detail about the glue, the types of lashes I use, how I apply them and everything. I even get like a upward angle so you guys can kind of see how those are applied. So go check that video out if you want some information on these. I prefer these types of lashes because, one, I don't have a band across my lid, which is really important because I do have smaller lids, and bands tend to pop off of my lashes because I do have a flatter face. 2, they are much more comfortable, and 3, you can usually wear these for an extended amount of time. So this was $16.99. I purchased this at Ulta in stores. It says rock a lash extension look in only one step. The first ever press-on under lash application, no glue needed, just press and go. Just press and go. It says that there's pressure-sensitive adhesive that adheres instantly to the lashes, and because it goes under your lashes, the band is invisible and it looks natural. So I have the style Spiky. It wasn't my first choice, but it was the only one that my Ulta had. And this does come in a kit with the tweezers. However, you can also buy just the lashes, but again, my Ulta only had it where the tweezers were included with the lashes. So as you can see, there are 10 medium clusters and there are 10 long clusters. The size of my eyes, typically I can use anywhere between, I think, 4 to 6 of these clusters. Well, standard clusters. I don't know exactly about these. I have used Falscara in the past. I really liked it, and I really enjoyed wearing them for a long period of time. However, now my favorite ones are Lash Links as well as Lilac Street Glue and Sealant. Again, I go over all of that information in the video that I posted previously. So here are the tweezers. They're very cute. Very nice, and they have this so you can easily grip onto those lashes, and I'll show you a side angle so you can see the length of them as well. And what I'm going to do is do a little cat eye. So I'm going to do maybe 2 of the long ones on the outer portion, and then I'll slowly go in and do the mediums. Typically the way that you want to do this is you're going to have a mirror, a handheld mirror, and you're going to be looking down into the mirror pretty much like a standard lash application, you know? The only difference really is you are going to place it underneath that lash, and you're going to want to get as close to your tight line as possible so that the band isn't like poking you or anything, and it looks as natural as possible. It does take a little bit of practice, but once you practice, you'll get the hang of it and it'll be super quick, I promise you. You can see there are 3, maybe 4 thicker strips that look like they might be the adhesive going downward, probably a 3rd way down the lash. I'm just going to go ahead and clamp that lash on the tweezer. We're going to go on the outermost corner. Just stick that on there. Oh, not quite. So I'm going to kind of brush it on. Maybe press it. Nope, that didn't work. So we're just going to try to place it and then squeeze it. So placing it there and then squeeze. Okay, so it makes sense why the tweezer is shaped kind of like an eye, because you do have to place the lash and then squeeze it. It's easier for me, instead of going from the top to squeeze, it's easier for me to kind of slide from the outer corner and squeeze it. Feels like it's stuck there. Oh, I can kind of feel the adhesive when I like poke at it. Let's kind of pull it. Oh, it doesn't feel super secure, but it's not coming off. I think I put it too close to my waterline. Hold on. Can I take it off? Oh yeah, okay. So I can take it off pretty easily. So let me replace that to where it's not poking me. So I have it on there. I think that's about where I want it to be. So let's go ahead in with the second cluster. So I think instead what I'm going to do, instead of placing it and then letting it go with the tweezers, I'm just gonna place it and then move the tweezers towards my lash line and then squeeze it in there. I know that you guys can't really see this. Here, let me do that same angle that I've done previously. Okay, here we go. So this is a terrible angle for me personally. I know that I look really yellow, but hopefully you guys can kind of see this a little bit better. I'm just gonna go ahead and place this, placing it as close to that other lash as possible. And then, oh no, I can't. Kind of squeezing it in there. My initial plan of putting it down and then going straight into the lash line did not work. But it's okay because we got it stuck on there. Hopefully you guys can see this. But I'm going to go in with one more long cluster. Okay, that was kind of difficult to film. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully some of that footage came out okay. But I have 3 long clusters here right now, and then I want to finish it off with a medium, maybe 2. The one that I just placed, I can see the band, and I don't necessarily think it's because of the lash, but I think it's the way that I placed it, because again, I kind of put it a little too close. The reason why I'm struggling with that, I think, is because I don't have glue to kind of stick it exactly where I put it right away. There's a little bit of wiggle room for the lash to kind of wiggle around before I can actually get in there and press it with the tweezer. But it is all good because it seems like, oh no, they both came off. I thought that I could just take one off, but it took 2 of them off. We will reapply this. Hopefully this does not affect the longevity of these lashes. Okay, I think that's a little better. So let me put a medium one on there. Okay, so here is the first eye. I did 3 long ones and then I did 2 medium ones, but I had to kind of cut the inner like hairs on that medium one because it was kind of like tickling me. It's a little too long. I should have cut it. So this is what it's looking like. I'll show you guys. There you go. And I'll also show you underneath. It's looking a little crooked, to be honest. I was struggling a little bit to get those lashes on there. But now that they're on there, they do feel pretty secure. They don't feel like glue secure, but they feel pretty secure. I kind of wish I cut this more. Oh, wait. She's coming off. I pulled it down and it's starting to come off. Hold on. I'm actually going to cut this cluster smaller. So when I took off that inner one, it kind of moved the one next to it. So now the lash looks kind of crooked. But if I pull this one off, it's going to pull the other ones off. What a pickle. Okay. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I don't want to keep messing with it. I don't like that inner corner. It's not looking the best, but we'll live with it. It'll be fine. It looks good overall though. It feels pretty secure. I don't know if it's gonna last overnight, to be honest, but I'm willing to try it out. It was kind of difficult, I will say, but before we get into all of that stuff, let me go ahead and do the left side. All right, guys, so I am back with the lashes completely on. This is what it's looking like. I'll give you guys a little bit of a close-up so you can kind of see what's going on here. Now, I will say that I wasn't able to put each cluster on exactly straight where it was following my natural tight line just because it was a little bit tricky. However, as I did my other eye, I kind of figured out a faster, easier way to do it than what I was doing with my first eye. So the first tip that I have for you guys that I found made it a lot easier doing it on the second eye. So when I was initially doing it, I was trying to hold the lash at the very tip like this, how I normally do with other cluster lashes and glue. But I found it was a lot easier for me to hold the lash with the tweezer a lot higher up on the band, like pretty much where that adhesive ends. I was holding it right there. And the reason being why I think it's easier to do that is because once I placed the lash, I only had a little bit more of a way to go to get closer to the lash line to press it on. So instead of being up here and having to go all the way down that lash to press it, I literally just had to like scoot over an inch closer to the lash line and just press it in. So that made it a lot easier. The cluster wasn't wiggling around. The tweezer wasn't knocking it out of place or anything. So I definitely do recommend holding the lash closer to that band with the tweezers versus holding it at the tip of the lash. Definitely kind of stack the lashes next to each other. Don't try to continue the line, you know what I mean? Like kind of overlap each cluster on top of the last one, just because I think that kind of helped with the adhesion. Like this definitely felt a lot more secure than this side whenever I was overlapping the very ends of them. Other than that, it was pretty much the same as putting any other cluster lashes on. Now, as far as the actual lashes go, I definitely prefer this style over the Kiss Falscaras style. I find that those are definitely more natural. They don't have a lot of dimension to them, whereas these I feel like definitely are spiky, but they still look really good. They kind of look more like an intense lash extension. The band on these are definitely thicker, but I don't mean that in a way that they're uncomfortable. I just mean that I can kind of see them a little bit more than other lash clusters that I've used, you know? I don't feel them at all. They're still really comfortable, but I can definitely see them. They're kind of like, you know, blocking. If you've ever had lash extensions, you kind of know that you can sort of see the lashes in your line of vision. That's giving the same sort of effect. I thought that it would be exactly the same as using glue and cluster lashes, but there was definitely a little bit of a learning curve. So I will say if you're having difficulty, practice a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't know which is easier. I'm just so used to doing cluster lashes with glue. I've been doing it for over a year now, and it takes me less than like 5 minutes to apply them. So I definitely have more experience that way, but I will say I got the hang of these pretty quickly. I will say though, applying lash clusters with glue is not as hard as applying a strip of lashes with glue. It's a lot easier to work with already, so this kind of like makes it easier, maybe. I've had these on, let's see, for about 45 minutes now because I did take a break to cook dinner, but they're still on. I'm not having any issues with them. Yeah, all in all, I do think that this is a great alternative. I still do prefer this over a strip lash. I think that it's still pretty easy to work with. It does take a little bit of time figuring out how to place that lash and then press it on before it moves around, you know, but I do think that kind of working with the tweezers and the positioning of the lash with the tweezer is key to that. I also think you can use these with glue if you like this style, but let's say the adhesion part of it doesn't work out well for you, you could still use this with glue, I think. Hey guys, it's the next day and I'm actually back to do a little bit of an update because I felt like it was worth updating you guys on the wear of these lashes. So they did not in fact last me 24 hours because I have reapplied them. So let me kind of explain. Last night after I filmed, I went and had dinner and I watched TV with my husband, and then we ended up falling asleep on the couch. And then I woke up in the middle of the night around 3 a.m. and I went upstairs to get ready for bed, and I was kind of like messing with the lashes because they felt a little bit loose. So I will insert some B-roll here, and you can kind of see as I'm like pushing on the lashes, you can see that the band is pretty much off of the lash, and the only part that's really sticking to the natural lashes are those adhesive pieces of tape, I guess. It wasn't super comfortable, to be honest, so I went ahead and took them off. They are super easy to remove, but I will say that I did lose a couple of lashes, which was really interesting. I guess I don't really notice that whenever I use lashes with glue because I am using a remover, so it makes it a lot more slippery. So keep that in mind if you do tend to have issues with keeping your lashes on. And while I was doing my makeup this morning, I tried to use the same lash clusters and re-stick them to see if that adhesive would still stick. And they would kind of stick on, but if I kind of moved them around or tugged at them, they came off right away. So I don't think that the adhesion is meant to be reused, but I am using the same lash clusters with glue. And I know that kind of defeats the purpose, but the reason I did that was because I wanted to see if these lashes did well with glue, because if you like this style, but you don't necessarily like the pre-bonded adhesion, or if you want to reuse the lashes like I did, you definitely can. My only gripe with these clusters is that the band is quite thick compared to other lash clusters and lash ribbons I've used. So you definitely can see it in your line of vision, but it's not terrible, and I still really like the way that they look on the eyes. Just a little bit overall more glam than I typically go for, and I really like the way that it looks. As far as the pack goes, if I wanted to go in and do the same map, so essentially the 3 long ones and the 2 medium ones, I couldn't necessarily do that because I only have 4 more long ones. So if I wanted to go in with just the pre-bond without glue and use these, I would have to change up the map a little bit, maybe 2 long ones and then the rest of them would be mediums. So keep that in mind. You could probably get about 1.5 to 2 uses out of just the pre-bonded lashes. The tweezers, I actually really enjoy the way that these are shaped. I like that they're shaped like your eye, so it makes it really easy at the end to just go in and clamp all of them and just go down the line and clamp all of those clusters down and bond them with your natural lashes. Oh, and I did want to mention that the pre-bond adhesive is not super sticky, so whenever you initially put it on, it doesn't feel like you have to use a sealant to remove that stickiness. So let's go ahead and rate this product. So out of 5, when it comes to comfortability, I would say it's a 4 out of 5 because that lash band is a little bit thicker, but it still feels like cluster lashes that you put underneath. Longevity, I would give it a 3 out of 5 because again, it didn't last me the full 24 hours. It only lasted me about 7.5 hours. But if you were wearing this out on a regular day, on occasion or an event or something like that, 7.5 hours is a pretty long time. So 3 out of 5 for me. Style, I give it a 5 out of 5. I think that this is a beautiful style. I think it's super glam and really fun, and you can kind of cut it and customize it the way that you want. And lastly, would I recommend this product? I would recommend it. If you like playing around with false lashes or you want that at-home DIY lash extension look, this is a great option. If you want to kind of practice without committing to gluing any cluster lashes underneath your eyes, these would be a great practice point just to get quicker and not have to fuss or like damage your natural lashes, you know what I mean? And that's about it for this video. If I missed anything or if you have any additional questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll be sure to get to them. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.